Well, hello everybody. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. I got an extra set of headphones now connected to my mixer so I can see if I'm hearing it or not, so I can actually hear a little bit of feedback in here. And it looks like it's going through. Let me know if it's saturated or what, because every once in a while the thing does saturate on me. But I think it's pretty good. Let me break it down a little bit. Here we go. So does everybody hear me okay? It's always interesting to watch the YouTube studio in terms of the live rate and how many people are connected and average watch time and all those different stats in there. I'll show you what I mean. That's what I'm looking at normally, and I can see the chat off on the right hand side there. Okay. So give it another few seconds, then I'll get started and do the introduction. Thank you, Catherine. Is it too dark here? Not sure. When I turn on this overhead light, it's a bit too much, but I can always amp up either one of the two lights that I have on there. The one that's connected here directly to my face, or that one that's going up to the ceiling and echo and bouncing back. Okay, so with that, let me start talking about what we're going to do tonight. I have my staging PC. It's actually sitting in this Corsair case that I originally put the motherboard in to test all the parts. Which one is this again? The Corsair. Let's see. Oh, can't think of it right now, but it's one of the smaller mid-towers that Corsair sells. So let me switch to the overhead and I can show you what I mean. Turn that light on. Oh, I didn't want to turn that one off. I wanted to go to this one and turn that one on. That's a bit bright, so let me lower it down. And let's take the cover off so it doesn't reflect the light. So you've seen me work on this before. It has a what is it, a 3900X in it? Yeah, 3900X AMD. So the CPU is not going to be the one that goes into my streaming rig eventually. It's going to be the existing 5900X that's in there. So when I refer to it as, this is the one that's getting upgraded eventually. And I'm doing it step by step, so I make sure I don't mess anything up. So that's why I've been staging it in this particular case here. And what I'm going to do today is put the latest piece into the staging computer, which is, I believe you had originally recommended this to me, Catherine. It's the Sabrent NVMe 4.0, PCIe 4.0. I don't know if that's focused or not. Let me see here. There we go. Now that's focused. Got it on sale, as I usually do. It normally goes for, I think, $160, and it was on sale at Amazon for $30 off. As a matter of fact, you'll see the link, in the notes to this stream, and it'll be in the video as well when this gets posted. And when you click on that, you'll see I just checked right before the stream, and it was still down to $130. And it's gotten some good reviews. This is not the best that they sell. They sell one that goes for another $40 more than this. Also 1 terabyte, I may have forgot to mention, this is a 1 terabyte. The other one is 1 terabyte too, but it has a probably about a 15% in performance gain over this one. But this is good enough. And I got some good reviews on that. So back to the overhead. So right now, if you look carefully here, get this positioned a little bit better. There we go. Let me zoom in a little bit. Right there behind that heatsink is the existing 1 terabyte SSD drive that I have. So that came with this Asus Prime X570, Z5, sorry about that, the X570. That's that motherboard is, that's in this particular case. I have some temporary memory in here too. That's not going to stay. So the memory part here, these are just an extra 16 gigabyte set that I had laying around that I was able to just put in here. Yes, Catherine, it's a Fast 4.0. You have the same one? Oh, wow, you get 4,900 and change, huh? Okay, good. We'll see what I get. So my goal is I want to put this drive right now, this one here, I want to put it into behind this heatsink. That's about down here on the motherboard. That's the primary location for a NVMe for PCIe 4.0 on this motherboard. Now this particular drive comes with a special version of Acronis, and I have my own copy of Acronis and the cloning tool that comes along with it. But what I'll do is I'll use that one just in case somebody, I'm going to turn this into probably a regular video and trim it down and publish it separately. So if somebody else wants to follow my lead on this and put that drive in, they may not have Acronis, but this thing comes with, not included in the box, but you can download it from the Sabrent, from the Acronis website, a special version of Acronis for the Sabrent, and you can use that to copy your existing drive. In my case, it's another NVMe 1 terabyte over to this new Sabrent drive. So that's the way I'm going to do it. And I'll take this off, it's getting kind of hot. But before I do that, I'm going to take that drive and move it from underneath that heatsink over to the second NVMe spot, which if you can see, it's way down in here, between the cooler of the CPU and the video card. Now to make this so that I don't run into any problems, I'm going to pull out the video card. That way I can make sure that I can get clear access to both of these NVMe spots. And I'll pull that one from under the heatsink and put it over here. And then I'll put the Sabrent underneath the heatsink. Now, the drive should be totally uninitialized, so it should still boot from this one. I believe I tested this board originally, and it didn't matter where you put the NVMe. Originally, I think I actually put it here when I initially formatted it, and then I realized that was the wrong spot to be in, so I moved it over here, and it just booted right up without any problems. Yeah, the newer model is a bit faster, Catherine, that's right, and a bit more expensive. So let me start right off. I want to get this one done tonight in 1 hour. With the daylight the switching back to standard time from daylight savings time, I'm telling you, I'm worn out. So I do want to make sure that I can get some get to sleep at a reasonable time and not, you know, get too, you back out a little bit, I backed in instead, and not get too exhausted. Oh, by the way, as long as I can see it in frame, this is my new addition up here to my to my studio. And what it is, I put a shelf up with a lot of my technical books up there. It's kind of hard to focus on it, but the technical books, I think, you know, tell the best story of what my channel tries to cover. ARM assembly language, I got the YouTube formula, I got cryptography, networking, TCP/IP specific networking, mail systems, LANs, client-server computing, and then on into Active Directory, Samba, and so forth. So those are the types of things that I wanted to cover and you know, illustrate within here. And a couple of those I do pull down quite often, so this way it'll be handy as well, in addition to being a showpiece. So I did want to show that's the new addition to my studio now. Let me get the frame back the way I wanted it. Okay, I don't like that flashing color. That's what it defaults to. Let me go to, I wish I could fix that color to be the solid blue like that so it matches the computer, but that's just the way it is. Yeah, the shelf is brand new. As a matter of fact, if you look here, I got the actual mounts. These are real plumbing pipes painted black. I didn't make them, I could have, but it was cheap enough just to buy a pair of those things. And I think I would have actually cost more money if I did it myself. So that way I put those up. I did take the shelf. It's made of 2 pieces of wood that I connected together with a joiner, a joint joiner that I have. And it works fairly well. And I painted it the same color as the wall. So I think that was an interesting thing to try. So with that, first thing I have to do, let me go back to the overhead. Let me know if there's any sound problems or anything, okay? I'm going to pull the video card out. So, take these cables out. Lay them on the side here. Got my tools handy because I don't want to finish this one in rapid order today. A little bit out of frame here. Let me come back in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Just taking the screws off, the 2 screws. I won't bother booting it. I booted it earlier this evening and it worked fine, but after I move the drive over, I will boot it just to make sure it still comes up properly. Let me remove the cable, the HDMI cable. And I think that's all that holds that down. At this point, I gotta reach in here and disconnect the graphics card. It's always a pain with these large cards. Where's my flashlight? Make sure I'm getting it right. Yeah, that's it. Just gotta push it down. There we go. Got it out. take out my 3070 Ti Rogue Strict. I made a whole video on its own and testing that guy out. The Gen 4 drive needs to go near the CPU in the first slot. I think it works either way here, Catherine. When I looked at the manual, I think it worked on either one of these slots. I can double check that though. Let me open up the manual and make sure that that's the case. I mean, why go through all this trouble if that's the case, right? But I don't have a heat sink there, so that's going to make, I'm going to have to buy an external heat sink if I put it in that spot. What do you mean, hence it will? You mean it'll work in either one? I thought it did. I thought it did work in either one, but let me double check. I have the manual out here somewhere. The Asus Prime X570 Pro. Yes, it will work in either slot. Okay, let me show people who might be interested in that though, just in case. So if I come in here, come down to the storage area, storage. So we have a PCIe in the M.2 under 1, and if it's AMD X570 chipset, which this is, then it's also a PCIe 4.0 times 4 in M.2 under 2. So it'll work in either one. A little confusing with the way they worded this, but it should work fine. Let me switch to screen. That would help if I switched to screen. Sorry, I'm looking at the screen right here now, and in this area here on the X570 Pro storage, it shows you could do either one. So right here it says if you just have a 3rd gen Ryzen M.2 socket, it's socket M.2 under 1, PCIe 4.0 times 4 works there. And then if you have the AMD chipset, because I should have that, and their M.2 under 2 is also a PCIe 4.0 times 4. So it should work in either one. Okay. Yep, it works in either one. Let me go back to the overhead. I would like to have that heat sink there is the main thing that I'm concerned about. So let me take this heat sink off. Do I need to give it a little more light on the picture maybe? So let me get a little more brightness here. You can see a little bit more. Go up to 55%. And I'll take this guy out. These are captured screws, as I remember, yeah. So they come out and then they're still captured inside the heatsink. That's a nice plus on it. And then this one here. Yeah. I always worry about damaging the heat transfer material, so I give it a little wiggle side to side to get it up. Make sure I don't damage anything with it. It looks pretty good. So I'll put that on its side over here. And Then you have here the what is it? The inland. It's actually a very, I got the higher end inland, so this particular one is pretty fast, as you'll see when I move it over. You'll order a fatter heatsink for yours too, for the Sabrent. Well, you have no heatsink right now? So let me take this guy out. And I'm going to move it first and then test it before I put the Sabrent in. I want to make sure that I don't mess anything up. So let me take this guy out. Put it on the side. Nope, I want to put it over here and take the screw out of this one here. So I believe, try not to put my head underneath the overhead. I do that a lot, so I don't want to do it tonight. And then I'll put this guy, the inland, over here. I'll sit it down into its, got a nice magnetic screwdriver here, so that helps. You have a thin one that's part of the motherboard, you mean? This is actually pretty thick. This one is like a stainless steel, pretty thick, really heavy. So this one here is a pretty good one that came with this motherboard. Let's get the video card back in. I don't have video with this one because it's an AMD without onboard video. I need the flashlight, so make sure I'm getting into the socket. Why am I? It's a big card, so it's a little bit, there we go. It takes a little bit of maneuvering to get that in there. Wow, that's pretty hot. Wow, okay. Let me get these screws back in. Now what I'm going to have to do in order to see what's on the screen properly, and all of you to see it without just turning my camera around and capturing my left-hand screen, is I am going to switch the output of this PC into the video capture, external video capture device that I have. One of the ones that I had reviewed that does very well, that's currently the one used for the overhead. And I'm going to switch the output of this through that same video capture. So we're going to lose the view of the computer itself, but we'll pick up an actual screen of what the computer is showing. So I think that's the best way to go. Yeah, that makes more sense, 52 Celsius. It came out as 53,000 and something. I thought maybe I was missing a decimal point. So that makes a little more sense. Let me get the power connectors back on. These are always a pain. If you don't get them connected up right off the bat, that's usually part of the problem. There we go. So they got to be joined together first, and then they go in a little bit straighter. There we go. I don't like piggy-tailing this one, as I said when I first put this guy together, but this is not a permanent home for this. The power supply that I have over there has enough direct cables to the power supply to support 3 PCIe connectors, which is the right way to do it, so that we don't overstress the current. And the overstressed current would be on these wires here, the ones that are going to the power supply, because we got 2 drawers feeding off of the same set. I know I could get extensions that are available, but they wouldn't do any good with this 750 watt power supply for that card. I wouldn't have it in the comfort zone that I like. Now let me put the HDMI in. And like I said, I'm going to do a little switcheroo between what's on the capture and connect that up to the card. So I'm going to disconnect the camera from the capture. We'll drop the screen for a second, and then I will put the other one in. Now the output of the video card is going through there. I think I have everything set at this point. It should boot up. I left the heatsink off back there for now because we're going to be putting the Sabrent in there. And let me turn the power supply on. And then I'll try powering it on. Let's see what we got. If we look at the main, just to show you, the computer is coming on. Okay. Just to let you know things are happening there. Let me go back to the overhead, and there we go. It went right into Windows 10. That's good. Everybody can see that, right? I can see Windows 10 here. I still have the Yubico login that I did a video on recently. I didn't deinstall the software. There was no reason to do that. Hi Nathan, how you doing? Yeah, it's a 3070. I'm sorry, a 3070 Ti. That's what that GPU is. I had waited online for that one just so I could have it to do a review of it, and I did. And I have a review out on my channel of that, of testing that card. Not game testing it. It's something I am just getting ready to start into doing with game testing, but I'm trying to find the right set of games that have built-in, as many as possible anyway, that have the built-in performance test. So let me log into this thing. And of course I did it all wrong. I'm a little bit offset from the keyboard, so that messed me up. Hitting the wrong keys. There we go. We went right into Internet Explorer. And as you can see here, this particular computer, it has what looks like its C drive is only a 200 gigabyte, but that's misleading, because what I did was with that drive originally, because I was planning on putting multiple operating systems on it, let me show you what I mean. If we do the manage, and we manage disk, what I've done is I only allocated approximately 200 gigabyte of the 1 terabyte, and another 732 gigabyte is sitting there empty, unused. So I did that originally, and that's why it shows up so small. There is a 1 terabyte drive. So just for purposes of reference, let me run Crystal Disk Mark and take a baseline of that. I believe last time I tested it, it was pretty good. A bit crazy to have that many PCI power cords are required for a 3070 Ti. Yeah, but it is overclocked automatically, since it is a Rogue Strix. That particular one I forgot to mention is the Asus Rogue Strix 3070 Ti. I paid a little bit extra for that. I was lucky that that particular waiting overnight, the next day they had 5 of these, and I was able to get one. They also had other ones that are non-Rogue Strix that a lot of other people got. There was even a couple of 3080s that I didn't get. People thought I was crazy online. I already had 2 3080s, regular 3080s, not Ti. But so I didn't see the point in doing that. I wouldn't have been able to make the video that I wanted to make with one of those anyway. So I went with the 3070 Ti, which performs very close to a 3080 anyway, believe me, right out of the box. Let me run the PC tools. Let me run Crystal Disk Mark, 64-bit. And we'll do a run all, see what we get here. It's pretty fast, as you can see, 3400 read on that particular NVMe, which I said before it was a it was an inland. It was the inland, but it was the higher end inland that I paid a little bit extra for. Okay, so it's still running 3409. Looks like it's switched over to the other different types of read blocks, specific sizes. For those of you who have not were not here earlier, I'm going to try to keep today. I hope so. I hope it's beaten by the Sabrent, or else I spent $30 extra for nothing. I did need another 1 terabyte anyway, so I was shopping around when I saw that the price dropped on it, Catherine. That's why I purchased it. So it only cost me probably about $25 more than I was originally thinking I would spend, because I could have bought another Inland just like this one for I think $105 from Micro Center. So we'll see when I save this. As I recall, it had pretty good write numbers too. And again, this particular one that's in here now, this Inland, this will become my spare. I may put it, when I finally roll my replacement editing rig, I may put this into the second PCIe, the second NVMe slot on that motherboard, the MSI motherboard that I have for that PC. Still sitting over in the corner. switch to the main while that's cooking. So that's still cooking. As I said before, right down in the corner here is the replacement for my editing rig, which can be used also for, you know, live stream. It'll be the backup for live streaming, whereas this one here is primary for editing. I'm sorry, primary for streaming and secondary for editing. I have editing licenses for both. I have all the licenses the same between this one and the other one. But the other one that goes down in my den area, which is where I do most of my editing. I don't usually edit in this room. I try to keep things somewhat neat, and things get a little bit messy when I'm editing. Multiple cameras and trying to get B-roll set up, and I take care of a lot of that downstairs. Let's see where we're at. Now again, this is through that capture card. It's one of the ones I reviewed. Let me see, does it have a name on it? Hope I don't knock the thing off. This is the UCEC, USB 3.0 HD video capture. Of the ones that I had tested, that including the ones I had purchased one, and then I wound up with like 5 other ones that were sent to me to do free reviews of, and that was the best one of them all. It also has a pass-through, so you could actually connect an HDMI out to it. And as you can see, it's pretty good numbers. It will be beaten, I hope, Catherine. We'll see when I switch it over. Yeah, I didn't do that yet. That's what's holding that one up, Catherine. I did not do that yet. I did not make the case mods, which will be the front panel and the side panel. And the front panel, I'm going to make a cutout to put a very fine intake filter. And the side panel, I'm going to put a plexiglass window, which will be the impression that I'll etch into it of my professional engineering license. What do they call it? The stamp. Okay, let me save this. I'll do a data capture of it, a screen capture. Let's see here. Okay, I'm looking forward to it beating it. I haven't even opened up the box fully yet. I took off the shrink wrap, but then it was wrapped up in a nice case inside. I'll show that in a minute. Okay, where's my screen capture? I thought I put a quick link to it here, but I guess I didn't. I go down, Windows Accessories. Snipping tool. I'm going to go ahead and put it to pin to start, so I have it there for next time. I like to use the snipping tool a lot. That's my favorite. Do a snip of this, and I'll just save it to the desktop. This will be the before. Crystal disk mark. So it's the before CDM. Should go right to the desktop. There it goes. It's right down over here now. Okay, now let me close this out. And at this point, I'm going to put in the other drive. I'll put the Sabrent in there, and then I'll download the special version of Acronis that they give, and we should be able to clone the drive over and see what happens. So let me shut this thing down. Switch back to main. And as soon as that's out, I'm going to switch. Let me switch the cables on the capture again so you can see me do the switch out. So now the overhead should be back to that view. Okay. Let me zoom back a little bit. Okay. Control center. I did see some reference about other tools that they have. I did see that. I'm just going to follow the instructions that they give in the instruction manual. So let me go ahead now and open this thing up. Okay, that should be in focus. I did take the shrink wrap off, and I pulled this little case out, this little bronze case, but I didn't open it any further than that. This has got some weight to it too. It's a nice sturdy case. Rocket control, they called it. Okay. Let me do this first, and I'll work on that next. So let me see. Is this going to need a knife? I hate to scratch this thing up, but looks like I need a knife here. I must have left my knife downstairs, so I'll just use a pair of scissors here and break the little label I have here. I don't want to tear it apart. It looks too good. Maybe I will have to. Let me see. Do I have to pull this whole label off then? Maybe I do. Maybe I have to pull the whole thing off. It's a shame. But I can't get it to easily come off. I'll have to use some Goo Gone on that thing. I got it stuck to my fingers over there. There we go. Oops, it looks like it goes this way. Nope, actually goes the other way. It's got an instruction manual in there. Put that over there. Unlock speed. There it is. Nice bronze color to it. It's got a little rubber insulator here. Wow. So I've unlocked speed. Okay. So let me take this thing out of here. There's two layers to it. Okay, let me get this. Oh, what am I doing here? Let me turn the power supply off. Can I get away with not pulling the card out? Let me see. It looks like I might be able to. I'm going to be very careful here. The power supply is off. And it would help to be the right way, wouldn't it? Okay, it's in. It's down. Got my magnetic screwdriver here. Get this guy down in here. Lock it in place. Interesting little book here. Guess they go through all the instructions, huh? They talk about putting it inside of a heatsink here, separate heatsink. Guess I'll have to read through that. Fortunately, this thing is captured screws on it, so I won't have to worry about losing those screws. Still always tricky to get the first one in. There we go, I think that's it. And then the second one should follow a little bit easier. I think that's it. Definitely turning. Definitely turning. And that's it, it's all the way down. There we go, I think it's in. Okay. Should we try it, Catherine? Should we turn it on? What do you think? I guess I'll turn the power supply on for first and see that I didn't cause a short. Nope. Power supply lights up. It will win. Okay. Let's see what it does. I guess at this point, let me go ahead and switch the capture card inputs again. It's going to be a blank screen until I hit the power on. Let's see, we got Asus coming up. It's already 20 after 9. Man, it never is as short as I think it is, isn't it? It's always longer. And there we go, it's up. Gotta log in. When you have that Yubico login, you have to type in your whole thing. You don't have a choice to choose from. That's one of the security features. So whoever's trying to get in better know the actual names you're using too. And we're in. Now I wonder if we see anything here. If I go into manage. Disk drive manager. It sees something. I do not want to format it. Or do I want to format it? What do you think, Catherine? I'm not sure. Do I go ahead and format this thing with a single partition? I didn't read the instructions. I'm opening them up right now to see. What does it say? It talks about removing it, single-sided, double-sided. Talks about putting the heat sink on. Let's see, does it give us any clue? Required tools. No, they don't get into that. Sabrent Rocket NVMe, attached to Sabrent Rocket SSD, and Windows, what does it say? Where'd my flashlight go? Everybody can still hear me, right? it says disk management. Right click on computer, and it tells you to go into what I just went into, which I hadn't even read this. When the disk manager opens, a pop-up should appear and prompt you to initialize the SSD. Select master boot record or GUID partition. It says create a simple volume. That's what it says to do, so I'm going to go ahead and say that. Which one did it say again? Did it matter? GPT is better for modern systems. That's what I thought. So let me pick GPT. That's what it's set for. And I'll say OK. So then I right click on this and I say simple volume, the first choice. And I do next. Just do next, next. It's going to become drive D. Yep, and then I do a finish. And there it is, it actually opened up. So now we have that there. Now I could go ahead and test it right now, right? As drive D, even before. I'm curious, let me try that. without it, with the operating system over. Let me go ahead and run Crystal Disk Mark and see what we get, so get early results on this. And I can pick drive D, 931 gigabytes, and I'll say all. Okay, we're ready for, oh, you know what I'll do before I hit all? I'm going to open this one up right next to it. I want to see what it looks like right next to it. How's that? So we see what it's competing with. And we'll say all. And it's off and running. Let's see what we get here. Wow, 49.56. Is that what you got, Catherine? I forget what you said. 49 something you got, right? Let me scroll up a little bit here. I think that's what you got. I'm not sure exactly where I put it. 49.64. Wow. Looking through the notes. I can't find it easily in your comments. Yeah, Cabrera, it's really fast. Look at that. Even the going on from there, it's like double the speed on the larger, more than double the speed on the larger size segments. And it's not the fastest one. No, you're right, Catherine. I could have paid a few bucks more, another $35 I think it was, and I could have got a faster one. Let me just let this finish, and then I'll go ahead and clone it. Might as well get the cloning done. I'm going to go a little bit past my hour that I was hoping to end at, but at least it's working, right? That's an important thing here. Those last two larger block things are about the same, right? Let's see what the writes come up. The writes are coming up next. Yeah, but now I'm thinking about it, Catherine. Maybe it's just male greed, but faster is available, huh? I can't afford it right now with what I have budgeted, but maybe in the future. Wow, the right is more than double. Are these the same results you got, Catherine? I think they're close to what you said earlier in the chat or somewhere. The writes are beating the reads in the larger size blocks. That's okay, Catherine. I think that's about what you said you got, right? Okay, so this thing is gonna be cooking. Now I'm gonna have to actually consider getting, maybe that's where I get the faster one when I can afford it, is put it in my editing rig. Yep. But the editing rig doesn't have a processor as fast as this one. It would definitely, I'll go for the high-end one for sure on my my build. That'll probably be in the middle of 2022 or a little bit thereafter. That's going to be my supercomputer, Catherine. Remember I talked about it a while ago? Well, right now I'm going to probably make it the I go back and forth, as everybody here who watch my channel will notice. So the next one will probably be the Intel 12th Gen 12900K. And I got to find the right motherboard for that. I want to make sure I get something that's efficient. And as of right now, I plan on using that same case I planned for my supercomputer. I don't see why not. Well, we'll see how it works out in terms of the case. That is some good performance. I also want to put 64 gigabytes of RAM at least. So we'll probably have just 4 memory spots, DIMM slots. So I'll try to get dual 32s. So I'll have room to go up to 128 on the supercomputer. Because I'm going to be running a lot of virtual machines on that one. I'm going to use it as what's called an application server. And I'm going to offload. There is options available in my editor to actually offload the rendering to another computer. So I'll use that for that purpose. Z690, yeah, but which brand? I know I need the Z690. I have to pick the ones. There's a video just came up from Paul's Hardware. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, so I'm going to go watch that one and see. I think he was the one that did it, that compares different motherboards. The cloning is pretty straightforward. Gigabyte? Yeah, you like Gigabyte, huh? The only time I've ever had challenges with a modern motherboard has been Gigabyte, and I'm like an elephant. I don't forget when the thing has put me through a nightmare. But I still remember the problems I had the first Intel Gigabyte motherboard. Maybe it's just Intel. I didn't try an AMD, but I'm going Intel again, so maybe that's something to consider. Okay, we're good. Let me go ahead now and save this one. So I have them for references here. They like to lie. Yeah. Well, they all companies do that. And forget about politicians. I don't talk politics as my channel is, you know. Those of you who know me know I do have political views, but I don't talk about them. Okay, so this will be the after. Okay, just so I have a copy of it. I'll make bar graphs out of them or something at some point. Close this, close that. Okay, I guess now I got to go to the gigabyte. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't think a gigabyte on my mind now. I got to go to the Acronis. Yeah, I heard something. I think that was something I saw. I didn't see Jay's 2 cents on it, but he had some issues overclocking the 12th gen. Again, I didn't watch those. I was too busy making sure I was ready for this live stream today. Let me come over here and go look at ransomware attack not looking good either. There was a ransomware attack on? Oh my god. I know about the PSU problems, yeah. Yeah. Let me go to the where is I gotta go to where I keep this stuff here. I think this is probably the same link that you put up. There is a let's see, control click. I have another link here. Okay, here we go. Sabrent. And you can download it from here. I went to this www.sabrent.com/Acronis to get to the software. Let's see, where was I? I didn't do it again, did I? I think I did. Oh gosh. I did it again. Okay. I closed the window. Go back to here. Okay, hopefully I didn't lose everybody. But I accidentally closed the window. Hopefully you guys are still seeing me okay here. Looks like I didn't lose anybody. I went ahead but I moved it over to the other window. I closed it again. That's the same mistake I made last time. Guess I'm getting tired. Let me know if you can still hear me okay. Okay, good. Thank you, Catherine. So now I am at the site, and here's download Acronis. And I think that other link that I had here, that was a video. I won't play it, but I have the link here if people are interested in it. Let me see. Let me do a view. Edit hyperlink here. It's really this thing here. Let me. Well, anyway. It's an actual video that, how come I couldn't do that? Edit hyperlink, copy this, Control C, V, okay, there we go. Now you can see the link up here. Kind of hard to follow, but it's actually from Sabrent that shows you the instructions on how to do it. So I just wanted to show that. But I already have it downloaded. Matter of fact, I think that might be, that this thing might actually tell you how to do it. Oh, they go through a little bit more than that. But I already downloaded the software. Let me run it. Acronis. It was just earlier today, actually, that I did it. So the Acronis application. Look, if it start running. Is it running in a window that I can't see here? For some reason I can't get it to run. What's going on here? Oh, it's waiting for my password. I see. It was in the other window behind something. It's unpacking. Here we go. I can't show that. It's on the other screen with the unpacking that it's doing. It's asking me to install it. True image for Sabrent. I gotta actually install the thing. Okay. Make sure I didn't lose everybody here. Yep, I see the window still open. 6 people watching. Let me install. Now it says start the application. Let's see what we got. The product edition requires that at least one Sabrent drive be connected to your system. If your Sabrent drive is already connected, please verify that your device has the latest firmware. I can update the firmware? So it's checking to make sure I have the okay, I did something wrong. Acronis true image for Sabrent. Let me try this again. That link doesn't work. Clicking on that link does not work. Copy link location. Let me open up a browser now. See what we got. Okay, now I gotta figure out which one I need here, huh? The rocket control panel. Is that one of these choices here? The rocket control panel? Or just copy your link? Okay, I'll try to click on the link in there. So you're saying this one here, Catherine? Download control panel, okay. I'm just going through the motions here, trying to install this thing. Enter administrator again. Okay. So this is the control panel, huh? Okay. Lower all these windows here. So somewhere in here is to check the firmware of my drive, huh? Drive it sees my drive firmware. Speed test, disk info. What did I do? I locked myself into something here. No. Temperature time. Firmware upgrade. That you see it. I couldn't see it. Thank you. Check now. So this is similar to what Samsung has, right? They have their own special control panel. Yep, in the circle, the arrow up. Checking something. I have no data on it, so this is a good time to upgrade the firmware. An hour and 47 minutes already. So we are going over. Sorry about that. Well, I'm sorry about it too, because I was hoping to be done by now. I do want to finish the job, so let me okay. Everybody can hear me okay, right? Looks like it's still going out good. Put my little headset on here and make sure that I can hear myself okay. Yep, I can hear myself here. Yep. Looks like it's waiting for something in the background there. What's it doing? Wait for the program to respond. What's this? I guess I'll cancel that. Is that still working, or? I'm about to stop this and start it again. Close the program. A Sabrent's here somewhere, right? I don't see it. Okay, what did I do wrong? Get rid of that window. I don't need that anymore. What's this? Let me click on your link again and see what we got here. Start over again. I should have the download here, so let me just go back to this. Password again. Okay, we're back to this. Let me save these. Check now. Why was it taking so long before? Okay, I'm back to where I was. I guess I won't move the mouse around this time. You know what it is, Catherine? I messed up. I messed up because I don't have that on this computer. This is my streaming computer. So let me close this. have to go back to my, where's the overhead here? This is the computer that I have to do it on. That would really help, wouldn't it? To actually use the right computer. So let me save the I have to save my help file over there so I can get to it, because this guy here, he has access to my one share. Let me go into system, and I'll copy the help file over here. Let me go to the other computer and copy the help file over. So, didn't think about the shift between computers. I should have. Let me go to S. Copy notes here. Now this guy should see it. Yep, this guy sees the notes. And now let me try again from this. Let's see if this works a little bit better. Download Acronis. It's downloading. No, nothing for you to be sorry about, Catherine. I just didn't, I lost perspective on which computer I was on. The one that has the Sabrent drive is this computer that's sitting on the desk. It's not my streaming computer, yet I was doing all of these installs of that software on my streaming computer. So let me open it here. I wonder why it kept asking me for password. That usually didn't happen. That should have been a clue to me that was a problem. I shouldn't have had to deal with the password since I'm logged in as administrator on this computer that we've been mucking with all night. No, you're not guilty. You're not guilty. I am. Okay, start the application. Let's see what we got here. I accept the agreement. Looks like we got a little bit further this time, didn't it? Tools. I'm doing it the way I know Acronis. So tools, and we have clone disk here. Am I doing this right? I think I am, right? Next. Now I want the select the source. The source will be my disk 1 here. I think that's the right one. PCIe, SSD. Yeah, it's not the rocket. The rocket's a destination, so that's the source. Acronis true image now. Of course, there's only one choice for a destination here. Next. Say OK, delete all that stuff, it's fine with me. Acronis true image. Get cooking. Clone with bootable OS to replace a disk on this machine. Yes, that's what I want to do. I want to replace a disk on this machine. So now we have to do a little bit of waiting here. Getting close to an hour and a half. I still see 5 people with me. I lost a few other ones. Pretty straightforward at this point, what we're trying to do. Like I said, I'm going to take this particular one and I'm going to do some editing to it and turn it into a, because I am recording it while I'm streaming as well. That's one thing nice about having a nice powerful streaming machine. It doesn't impact it at all. My biggest impact is my reduced upload speed. I only have 50 meg upload. Well, I think it approaches 56 meg, but still, that's not much. I'm going to be going to one gig speed soon, as soon as it's available for my locale here in New York. Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate it. I'm just going to go to the end here because I want to make a video out of this. When I do the video, they'll speed through this part of it. It doesn't have that much on it. It shouldn't take that long, but you never know. Right? It's not loading that much on it. No. Oh, it didn't proceed. Oh, gosh, come on. Oh, gosh. Comedy of Errors running this. You know, it is, I never ran cloning before, you know, in Windows. I've run cloning when it was a standalone version from a USB stick, which I have created. I wasted 5 minutes there. Anybody else have any questions or anything? It looks like there's not many people participating, even though it shows that I have 6 people still watching. You know, there's a lot of people there who have not made any comments. So and then once this is done, I'm going to pull out the inland M.2 drive and then reboot it, and it should boot up, hopefully. Never had Acronis fail me before. Looks like the special version, though, will only run if it sees a Sabrent drive installed. So we're able to prove that part of it anyway. You can't just take this and generally use it for other things. My Acronis is still 2019 version, but it still does good. I have actually a backup going on of my my editing PC right now. Actually, what I'm doing is I'm backing up one of my Buffalo NAS in a future video, which is very, very soon. I'm going to. Oh, it's all done. I'm going to turn off the computer and reboot, but I'm going to pull the drive out before I do that. So it says it's done. So if that's the case, I should be able to shut her down. And we're off. Let me switch cameras here. What I'll do is I'll let me without having to, well, I guess I could just switch the cables again, no big deal. Let me switch the cables. And then I can go to the overhead again. And hopefully I can reach it without causing any problem. Let me turn the power supply off. Make sure that no power on there. There's no heat sink on there, so I should be able to take it out very easily with that one screw. Okay, the RGB went, so let me take that drive out. There's actually a warning somewhere in the instructions that I saw online from either Sabrent or Acronis, or maybe both. Do not boot the thing with two exact drives in it. Okay, so I'm off camera. I was able to get the screw out, and I'll just take this guy out of here. Put the screw back in for safekeeping. I always do that. Okay. Now I should be good. Let me turn the power supply back on. I see the RGB. I'm going to switch it now before I power it on to the other one. So you can see it start from the beginning. Make sure everything looks good. And let's see what happens. Yep. Getting past the BIOS. Let's look for there's the wheel. Okay, that's a good sign. You see the Windows wheel. And we're in. Got a different background screen, but we're in. Got everything installed here. Let me offset by the keyboard again. That's not good. What the heck am I doing? Oh, I forgot. I'll have to change that password now. That's not the permanent password anyway. That's the one I use for my test systems. There we go. And we're up. So let's see what we got in terms of the drive. it actually expanded and utilized the entire drive this time. It didn't just do that little piece that I had. So it's actually using up the whole 1 terabyte as one giant partition. I could always shrink that back if I wanted to. That's no big deal at all. All you have to do for that one is go into this PC, go into Manage, go into Disk Management, and then over here you can actually just right click on this and say shrink volume. I won't bother doing that now, there's no point for it. I'll leave it at the full size for now, but that's all you have to do. And it gives you choices in blocks, bite size. You got to play with the bite size to understand where you're slicing it when you do that. But I won't go through that right now. Let me come in here and run the disk speed again. Before I do that, I'm going to bring up the one that we had before. That's the fast one, right? Go in and run Crystal Disk Mark one last time, hopefully. Get rid of this. Move this over there. And let's run it. Okay, Crystal Disk Mark is running. Anybody else still in the chat up there? It says we got like 7 people running here. It's actually faster. 4972 now. I don't know, maybe Crystal Disk Mark uses some data files from the current PC, from the current drive that it's on. I don't know. I don't know if I did that, Catherine, if I have the latest AMD chipset driver on here or not. I didn't do the final setup on this thing yet, but I will. I'm going to go through and do all those types of things. Would that make a difference in the performance of this drive? I'm not running Windows 11, Windows 10. By the way, Catherine, I saw that those fans were delivered to Florida on Thursday afternoon, late afternoon. I don't know how long it takes for them to get from there to where you are, though. It will be an hour and 45-minute stream. You get 3302 on the second line. Okay, well, I'll try that. I'll try updating the chipset software. See if it makes a difference. I'm gonna have to change this screen view so it shows in the corner maybe my picture, so that I can at least be signaling activity here as life rather than just waiting. Okay, so hopefully those fans are helpful to you. Like I said, I just had them sitting in a box doing nothing. They could have been there for years. Well, they weren't, those particular ones you have. I think that the oldest ones there are some of the Corsair ones that I pulled out of my my first PC in like November of 2018. So that's as old as they get. So 3 years they've been sitting there. Some of those Corsair ones that you'll see. But they really were not used at all, because I pulled them out during the building process, which went over 2 weeks. That was my first modern PC build in many years, so I took my time with it. Like anything else, you hate to replace a working PC until you know that the replacement is 100%. I think that's it. I think we're all good now, huh? I won't save that one. I'll just leave that for now. I'll go ahead and update the software, the chipset, and let everybody know. Let me switch back to the main. Well, okay. Went over by about 45 minutes. Since I'm over, I'm not going to spend too much time with question and answer. I didn't see too many questions and answers tonight, or questions, that is, tonight. So chances are there's not much to spend time with. Anybody who is on, if you do have a quick question, I'll be glad to answer it. But other than that, I think I was able to get through this with the hiccup of loading the software on the wrong PC. I'll have to delete that stuff. Well, I don't have to bother. I can just leave the Sabrent stuff on there. I'll put that control panel on this PC too, just like I did before. We'll see how that works out. It looks like it's very similar to the software that's used with other drives like that. Anyway, I thank everybody who was able to attend tonight that may still be listening, and sorry I'm late. As usual, there's always some hiccups, but at least we got it all working in the end, and I can see that it was well worth the upgrade, and the future version of this PC will benefit from that. Because this thing, with the exception of the memory and the CPU, which will come out of that one, it'll have all the other components here. So once again, thanks for watching, and until the next time, again, as of right now, 2 weeks from now, I'll be doing another live stream, also at 8:30. So until then, take care.